Hey, welcome everybody to my encore presentation of how to use your smartphone or tablet to shoot quality marketing videos. I had such great feedback last week on the original that I really wanted to share this information much broader than the audience we had last week. And I also heard from a number of people who couldn't attend, so many of you are here today. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Now, before we get started, I have a little housekeeping. On your screen, and I'm going to switch over to show you. Hello, everybody. Hi. The screen that you're looking at right now, and I guess I don't have that, do I? Okay, never mind. Right below your screen, you have a couple of different icons that are really important to pay attention to while we're live streaming right now. First of all, this system works best if you're online through your Chrome browser. Now, you don't have to have Chrome to do this, but I found by and large that it works the best because we're working through Google Hangouts, and Chrome and Google, well, they're owned by the same people and they function best together. So if you have trouble viewing or hearing any of our webinar today, I suggest that you go down to the bottom of your screen and click on the icon for YouTube, and you can view this in its entirety through YouTube as opposed to through this web browser here. That should eliminate any of those issues. Hopefully that won't be a problem, but if it is, we can take care of it. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you about? You could also view full screen. You can see the little icon in the bottom right corner that looks like a little mini screen with little arrows sticking out. If you click on that, you can go full screen. I tend to find that the video gets a little fuzzy if you do that, but those of you that want to have a larger screen, please don't worry about it at all. And finally, this is an interactive event. So I want to be sure that not only do you get great information from me, but I hear back from you as we go along, so I could be sure I'm on track and I get a better idea of who you are and what you need. So please take advantage of our chat box. Make sure that if you have a comment or a question, you type it in there, and we'll be moderating those throughout the presentation. I have a couple of times during the presentation I'm deliberately going to be taking questions, and of course at the end, if there's anything that we haven't answered, we'll take a few minutes to do that. And then the chat box can actually pop out. It's a cool feature. Look at the very bottom corner. There's a little icon that you can click on, and it will allow you to move that chat box anywhere on the screen that is helpful for you, particularly those of you that might wind up going over to YouTube. Take that chat box with you. That's the only place that we're going to do our interactive conversation. We're not going to be monitoring the comments in YouTube, so please pay attention to that because we really want to hear from everybody. All right. So I think that's all we have for housekeeping. We need to kind of move on here. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Marcia O'Malley. I'm the owner and video specialist here at Mindful Media Services, and I'm located in Reno, Nevada. And I work with nonprofits, small business owners, and entrepreneurs to help them capture their unique message through video, and then to get it out in the world in a big way. That's the beauty of being able to do so much work online anymore. Now, before I started my business 4 years ago, I've had a whole career in the video industry, but I was at a point in my life where I was doing way too much and not doing anything well. I really needed to take stock of my life and where I was going, and I realized that one of the most important things that I thought I had in my life, I didn't, and that was staying centered and mindful about what I was doing. So I quit a full-time job, more than full-time job I had in the nonprofit sector, and decided I was going to dedicate all of my work time, specifically to video. And although I couldn't tell you that I'm like 100% together and with it and centered, I'm definitely much more mindful about my life and about my work. And I bring that to the table with the video work that I do. So that's a little bit about me. I want to tell you a little bit more about Mindful Media Services. We work with, as I said, nonprofits and entrepreneurs and small businesses, and we provide coaching, training, and consulting. So coaching people who may have an interest in doing video on their own, and they just need a helping hand, someone to be there to, keep urging them on, to really produce the very best, highest quality work that they can, and provide tips and suggestions, from the expert. And then training, like this event right now that we're hosting live. I love to teach people how to use video and how to get comfortable with it. A lot of people, have a lot of fears. They have misgivings about being on camera and so forth. And so one of the things I love to do in my training is to demystify all of that and to let you know that, there's somebody there to help you through it and walk you through, and you're not alone. And then I also offer a full done-for-you package where I can do everything from concept development, script writing, shooting, editing, and distribution. We just kind of do a little bit of the full gambit here. So all of that is just to kind of set the stage for where we're going today. So how about if we get started, huh? Let me switch back over to our slideshow. Hold on for a second while I do that. And there's my picture. Isn't it funny how we get these photos? And I don't know about you, but when I see a headshot of someone and then I've never met them, I expect them to look just like that when they go on screen. It's rarely that way. I think I look kind of like it, but anyway. So anyway, today I'm really excited to be able to share some cool information for you about using your smartphone or your tablet to be your video tool. I'm going to highlight 3 essential tools that are going to turn your smartphone or your tablet into a professional video recorder. And I'm also going to help you to figure out how to feel comfortable in front of the camera and give you some ways to enhance the look and feel of your video. Now, this is a preview of a new online training program that I'm starting, and I'm going to tell you more about that later. But I want to move forward here and get going and find out a little bit more about who you all are and what it is you'd like to know. So, are any of you online right now using video? And if you are, how's it going? What sorts of results are you having? And if you are not, how come you're not? I'm going to give you a couple minutes to type into that chat box and let me know what's going on. I'm going to go take a look at the chat box and figure out how things are going. A lot of people have misgivings over time about video, as I said, and I think that it's so much simpler now than it ever used to be, and it's so much more accessible. It used to cost a small fortune. I mean, it really used to cost a fortune, and it used to be that you didn't have access to equipment unless it cost $1 million, or you had to be in a studio or whatever, and now it's right in your pocket. So I'm going to consult with my chat monitor here and see if we've got any feedback from you all yet. Nancy? And while she's looking and checking, I will just let you know that, I've not always been comfortable on camera, and I've not always used it. And one of the things about being a small business owner is that you get so busy with doing the business of your business. Sometimes these marketing features really take up an awful lot of time, and you don't wind up making the time to incorporate them into your day-to-day activities. And so that's something that I found was true for me, and I'm doing the video for other people. So I am working really hard right now to change that up and to make, video a huge part of my marketing mix. It has to be. You guys need to know that I know what I'm doing, right? So Nancy, do we have any news from anyone? How they're using video right now? While we're waiting, I just want to tell you a few interesting facts about why video really is so important to marketing. I mean, in case you had any doubts about how important it is to use video, these statistics, I think, really bring it home and highlight it in a way that nothing else can. First of all, visitors online will spend 88% more time on a website that includes video. 88% time is huge. And then organic traffic from a search engine, it increases by 157% with video. That means if you have video on your website, when someone does a search using the keywords that link to your video, you get ranked much higher than just text content. And then consumers are 46% more likely to seek information about a product or a service after seeing it in an online video. I mean, that's pretty remarkable. People are going online looking at video before they purchase a product or a service. And, it's expected now. Videos turn viewers into customers. There's no doubt about it. And with customers expecting video now, you've got to get on the bandwagon if you want to stay competitive. So let's get going so you can start creating your own video here. All right, 3 essential tools. So the first of the 3 essential tools is a tripod and a mount. Now, as many of you know, if you've tried using your smartphone to shoot video handheld, it can be pretty challenging. You can get really bouncy video from it, and it can kind of make you seasick when you're watching it back. So I always recommend that you get at least, some little kind of a tripod or mount, whether it's a desktop version like you see here on the right-hand side of the screen holding up the Samsung, or if you get a full-fledged tripod, that can stand up a couple of feet. And then you also need a special mount for your tablet or for your phone. And here in the middle is an example of one of those on the market for an iPad. It also has interchangeable lenses on it here as well. It has openings where you can plug in an external microphone and a little jack at the top where you can slide on a light or a microphone. So these are essential tools. These are things that if you don't have them, your video is going to look very unprofessional. It's going to look like you just kind of went out, grabbed your camera out of your purse and started shooting and didn't take anything else into consideration for your support for your shooting. I wanted to let you know that these examples I've shown you, like the tripods, if you go onto Amazon, you can find a decent tripod anywhere in the price range between $25 and $75. You can also use a monopod or a selfie stick. You can get, these selfie sticks are great. They've got remote controls on them now so that you can actually push start from the handle instead of having to reach over and touch the phone. I love this picture here in the center. Someone online said, you don't have to have a lot of bells and whistles. You can attach your phone any way you want. And this guy's used a couple rubber bands. Hey, whatever works, whatever works. But I do love the gorilla style tripod over here on the left. You can wrap that onto anything. And this is a great example of putting it onto a fence, and then you can step back and shoot. Many phones now have remote control based on the voice. So you can step back a couple of feet and then say, start shooting, and it will record the video for you, and you have a nice stable place for that to be. Monopods and selfie sticks, I mean, they're, $15, $25. They're not expensive at all. And rubber bands, hey, they're free. Especially, looks like these got a purple one that's a lot like the ones that are on all of the asparagus that I buy. So you might want to just save them from the grocery store. Okay, so the next essential tool is a microphone. Now, the iPads, tablets, phones, they all have a condenser microphone built into them. But unless you're videotaping yourself within about an arm's reach of your face, the microphone is not going to sound good at all. So I highly recommend that you get a different kind of microphone. It's called an external microphone that will plug into your phone. Here you see a little shotgun microphone on this phone here on the right. On the bottom, you see a little lavalier microphone plugged in. That's the kind that you can clip onto your shirt. And off to the left is a handheld microphone so that you can actually, say you're doing an interview, you're off camera asking the questions, but the person is in front of your camera answering them, but you want to be sure that you record the audio of your questions. That's a perfect solution for that. And again, these are not very expensive. If you go onto Amazon, these microphones range anywhere from $25 to $100. You don't need to spend a lot of money, but that money will pay off significantly. Viewers are a lot more accepting of poorer quality video, and I'm not saying bad video, but poorer quality, not real sharp studio production, but obviously you've been shooting it yourself, but they're not forgiving for bad audio. So a little investment, 25 bucks for a lavalier microphone, and your problem is solved. So I highly, highly suggest you go that route. And the next essential tool is lights. I just have a picture here to show you an example of, if you only have light behind you, no one can see your face. You're really backlit really badly. That's not a good idea. You definitely need light in front, and you need to have it nice and even. And there are a couple of solutions. Whoops, sorry. I have a professional light kit over on the side here with 3 lamps and a little carrying case. And that you can spend probably about $130 on, $140 if you go on Amazon and look around. There are other kits that are significantly more expensive, that are real high-end professional ones, but these do a very nice job. In fact, I have a kit very similar to this, and it serves me really well. It projects a beautiful, soft light. That's what it's called, because it has that white fabric over the front of the your light bulbs, and it just softens the light and makes it really nice and even on your subject. Another solution, if that is too costly for you, is to just get a couple of utility lights at your local Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever home store like that you have around. I own several of these. I have a couple of them in different sizes. I make sure I use the same kind of light temperature bulb as I have in my three three lamp set, so I can use them along with it if I need to for an extra hit of light here or there. They come with a clamp on them, so you can actually attach those real easily to a bookshelf or a railing in your house if you're shooting something in a room. In your garage, you could have it up on a ladder. And those are incredibly inexpensive. You know, the lamps themselves are anywhere from $8 to $10. And then the light bulbs, maybe you spend $25 on those. So it makes a big difference. You need to be able to see the subject and you know, along with hearing it as well. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about are some of the extra tools that you can use. These are not things that I consider essential, but I do consider them important enough to mention to you so that if you feel adventurous, you can actually tap in there. So first of all, I have on my list are lenses. Now you can see up here at the very top, I have three different, two phones and a tablet here. This is actually an iPad, as I mentioned before, and they all have different lenses on them. This one here on the left, the black one, has 4 different lenses, and they attach to the viewfinder of the camera on this smartphone by a magnet. It's amazing. And then, you know, you have a fisheye lens, and you have a wide angle lens and a macro lens. You get teeny tiny, you know, close-up pictures. I mean, you really turn the camera into an amazing machine, and you can use those not only for still photos, but obviously for video. And then the same similarly is true for this mount with the iPad. It has a lens here that can switch up from a wide angle to a macro lens. And then that is attached to the actual mount. So it doesn't touch the attach itself directly to the iPad, but it's right in front of the lens of the camera. And then the iPhone here on the right has a lens that's clipped on. There's a whole bunch of those on the market now. They're very popular. And again, you go on to Amazon and you can find those lenses for anywhere from $10 to $25. And it can actually open up quite a world for you, particularly if you're shooting in a closed space where you don't have a lot of room, but you'd like to have a little bit of a wider view. A wide angle lens can give that to you. So that's something to consider. The next thing to be aware of is that when you shoot video on tablets and on phones, you're using up a lot of battery power. You may have a phone already that, you know, eats up a lot of battery power just on its own without doing video. So it might be worth considering buying an actual battery pack. And that's in the center of the screen here. You see this black unit with a little turquoise stripe on it. They can have enough juice in them to recharge your phone completely, twice over, some of them. And now they range in price considerably. I looked online yesterday and I saw some for as inexpensively as $15 and for as expensively as $100. So there's quite a range, but it's something that is well worth the investment, and you won't be left hanging when you're out. You know, say you're shooting something out in the field somewhere. Maybe you're away from your office or out in the community. Maybe you want to be videotaping yourself, you know, out in your community park or at an event. There's nothing worse than running out of battery power. And you can't always have yourself plugged in because you don't have a cord long enough to reach. So think about that. And then finally, video takes up a lot of storage space. So I have two suggestions for that. One is take a look at the instrument that you're using, your tablet, your iPad, your phone, and see if there's any way that you can expand your storage memory. A number of phones, have slots for little cards that you can put in there, and maybe it came with, I don't know, 8 gigs, and you could actually expand it to 32 gigs. I mean, that would give you incredible storage capacity beyond what you had before. And then another thing that you need to consider is where you store all of your finished video. This is particularly important. I mean, I know with iPads and with iPhones, you can store in the cloud. You have that opportunity, and the same with a lot of other instruments. But it's always nice to have a recording of it on a hard drive in your hand so that you can have it. I always like to have a backup like that. I don't always trust cloud technology. So far, it's been pretty darn good and consistent, but you never know when the cloud is going to rain. So instead of being stuck without an umbrella, get yourself an external hard drive like this red one over here and save all of your video on that. It will save you a lot of heartache down the road in the event that you're looking for something and somehow it got lost. That's just too disappointing to have happen. So those are, and for hard drives, like the one that I'm showing you is a 1 terabyte storage, and it runs about $70. And again, $70 is a good price for insurance for being able to know that all of your video is safe and sound somewhere. Okay, and then some other extras that I suggest you look into are camera and editing apps. If you're using an Android-based technology, there are 2 free sources that I'm going to share with you today. One is called Google Camera. That has been on a lot of phones and tablets is automatically loaded. If it's not, you obviously can go, to the Google Play Store and find out more about it and download it from there. But it's free, and it provides just a nice set of tools to do your shooting. Being able to pay attention to where your focus point is, and being able to adjust maybe your lighting and those sorts of things. It really makes a difference when you go to shoot something and it doesn't look like it just came out of a canned box. And then to edit, the editing app that works best with an Android is Movie Maker. That comes free pretty much across the board. You can get that on Google Play again, or it's usually installed already on your hard drive. And then with Apple, there's a free camera app called Pro Camera that is real robust. That's something I would suggest you just kind of check out and see if that might suit you for your shooting needs. And then iMovie, I'm sure many of you have heard of that before. It's a very popular application for editing. And on iPhones, it comes pre-installed. With iPads, you actually have to download it and pay $4.99, I think is the price on it. But it's well worth it to be able to do your editing right there. Now, I don't always recommend you try to edit anything on a phone. Tablets, though, are pretty much made to do that. But I'll get into more of that actually with my online training that I mentioned to you before. There's so many different options for apps. I couldn't even begin to give you a list today, but I will be going through very specific ones in my training, specific to the people who are in the class. We're going to look at the equipment that you have and make sure that we enhance it the very best we can. So anyway, these are some really great apps, and the next thing I want to cover now is getting into being comfortable on camera. I want you to think for a minute about what you fear the most about being on camera. Now, I've heard everything. I've heard, what if they don't like my hair? Or, oh, my voice sounds terrible. And what if somebody makes fun of the way I talk? Or maybe they think my accent is funny. And what if I leave really bad comments under my videos? I'd be totally humiliated. But what if? What if you never show up on video is my question to you. If you don't, you're losing out on a huge opportunity to market your business or your organization. It's really critical today. A couple of years ago, I participated in a 30-day video challenge. I've spent my life in video, but most of it I've spent behind camera. And if I have, done anything, it's been a lot of voiceover work. So I feel very comfortable doing things like webinars like this, where, you're looking at a slideshow and I'm doing a lot of talking, reading a script, doing that sort of thing. But that challenge really made a huge difference for me in being comfortable in front of the camera. Every day we had to shoot something, and it didn't matter what. It could be for a minute, it could be for 5 minutes, or it could be something that we were doing, professionally. Maybe it was an actual webinar. But everyone in this group, and there were hundreds of us that participated, we would have to post our video in our private Facebook group and give feedback to each other and encourage each other. And I think what came out of it for me, were several things. One, I've got to stop hiding. You guys need to know who I am. You need to know why I do what I do. And until I'm good at that, I can't teach you how to be good at it. So that was a huge takeaway for me. And the other thing was the importance of community when you're going through that kind of an experience. It's one thing to try to do that on your own, but it's another to be accountable. And every day someone was looking out for me to upload that video, and a big group of people, they were all there waiting to give me feedback on it. So I just really loved that process, and I'm considering very soon hosting a 30-day video challenge online. So I'll let you guys know when that happens. But for now, I just want you to know that you have a message that is so special and so important, and only you can share it. You have to find peace with the camera. It's not going to happen overnight, but with practice, you're going to get better. So I have a couple of tips I'd like to share with you about getting comfortable on camera. One is to practice. There is nothing that is going to enhance your ability to be on camera than to practice, and just to do it over and over again until you feel comfortable. And do it, at a time when you don't have an audience. Just record yourself over and over again. Look at it. Look at each one of them and do a critique on your own, and not critiquing, oh, I look bad today. More like, what did I do well today, and what can I do better with the next one I do? It's kind of like going to the gym. You're going to feel better afterwards. Does that make sense? It's good for you. You got to do it, and you just got to keep persevering. So when you do go on camera, just remember to keep it simple. Speak from your heart, because people are going to know whether you're reading off of a script or if you're really talking from your genuine self. And don't worry about being perfect. Online video is not perfect. no one's expecting perfection. If you do seem too perfect, then people are going to be turned off by that because they're going to feel like you've rehearsed it so much that it's not real. You know, we're very genuine and heartfelt when we're not perfect, quote unquote. You know, some people find it helpful to actually practice in front of a mirror. I don't particularly, but that might be something that you'd want to try. You know, you just got to figure out what works the best for you. And then I think the best advice I can give you for being on camera is to always take the time to breathe. If you start feeling anxious and you start feeling like, oh my gosh, the fog is setting in and now I can't remember anything I was going to say, and oh my gosh, I'm just going to blow it. Take a minute and take a nice deep breath. And then just start again. And do that whenever you need to. It's critical, because if you're not present with what you're saying, everyone's going to know it. Okay, so I want to talk about some enhancements that I want you to be aware of while you're doing your shooting. The first one is just a basic principle of shooting video. You need to go horizontal. Now, I've got an example here to show you. Here's a smartphone that is positioned horizontally. That's the correct way to hold it to shoot video. And that's because when we watch video, we're watching it on horizontal monitors, on horizontal televisions. That's the way that video is made. And when you shoot from your smartphone from that direction, you get the full perspective of an image, just like this Tibetan temple right here. When you turn it vertical, you wind up losing a huge chunk on either side of that image when it projects on video, just like the picture on the bottom. And look at all the information that gets lost. So please take the time to remember every time you're shooting video to flip it over. And next is using the rule of thirds. So the rule of thirds it's probably the most often referenced photography rule of composition. It's all about how you place your subject within the frame. So first of all, imagine that your picture space is divided into thirds, both horizontally and vertically, like a tic-tac-toe grid, like you see up here on the right. So the photography rule of thirds tells us to align our subjects with one of those points where those lines cross. That's where these little red circles are. So that means our subject is 1/3 of the way into the picture space from either the top or bottom and from either the right or the left. And that means it's not in the middle. So in general, the idea is to divide the picture space into areas in a 2-to-1 ratio. So 1/3 and 2/3 rather than equal halves. And that imbalance results in a more dynamic image. So I want you to take a look at this screen over here with this gentleman. Obviously, he's being interviewed by someone. And it's a much more interesting picture than if we were looking at him straight on and his face was just centered. There's a lot of action to it. There's a lot of dynamic interaction going on. You can tell that that conversation's happening. So creating that imbalance was very deliberate in this case, and it was very successful. And then a natural extension of the photography rule of thirds is to place your horizon line along the 1/3 or 2/3 line of the tic-tac-toe grid rather than the middle. So that means along this line or this line. So I don't have an example on screen, but if you think about looking at a photo of the ocean, you have the sand, you've got the surf, and then you've got the horizon line where the water from the ocean meets the sky. Those are all different opportunities to frame it differently and line up along those horizontal lines. So see what works when you're out there shooting. Keep that in mind. Many phones and tablets actually have a grid that you can have showing as you're shooting your video. And if you want to try that out just to get used to it, if you're not sure how that works, you can try that. But again, this fellow is framed off center, and he just looks so much more dynamic and engaging. You really want to know more about what he's doing and what's going on. Makes you want to watch it more. So finally, the last enhancement that I highly encourage people to use is to add music. Now, there are a lot of different places that you can find music, but you need to be sure that you have the rights to use it. And one great resource is YouTube. They have a fabulous library of music, and it's all part wrapped in with their editing program that you can use. That's one of the features of YouTube that I'm going to be highlighting in my training that I've been talking to you about today. And I'll share a little bit more about that in a minute. But you can also get music through paid audio services. One that I like a lot is called Audio Jungle. And there you can get, music clips that range in price from about $7, for short ones, up to $75 for longer pieces that are several minutes long. They're all cataloged by theme and tempo, and really easy to actually go through and listen to before you purchase. But they make a big difference in the finished product. And I think it really helps. Music sets the tone. It sets the emotion for your video. So consider, maybe spending a little bit of money on that, or really honing your skills in YouTube Editor, where you can have access to their free library of music. So that is the last of the enhancements. Now, as I said, I'm going to be going into greater depth with my new program. I'm going to be talking about all of these different tools and features that I've mentioned today, and get very specific with each of my students. And I'm hoping that you want to know a little bit more about that. My course is going to take your knowledge to a much deeper level, but do it within a community of video learners. As I said before, when I did that 30-day video challenge, it made a huge difference to me, even as a video professional, to be doing it with a group of other people. Other folks that had misgivings just like me, people who had fears of being on camera or just weren't used to the technology. They knew they needed to get going with video for their business, but they didn't know where to start. And they dove in head first, and by golly, I'm still in touch with many of them, and they're using video to this day because of that. So let me tell you a little bit about my program. It's called You Shoot Do-It-Yourself Video Training. And it is a month-long training. I am offering step-by-step instructions on how to shoot quality video with your smartphone, your tablet, your webcam, camcorder, whatever tools you already have. You're not going to be required to buy a bunch of new video equipment unless you want to, purchase some of these enhancements that I mentioned before. But I'm going to be coaching on how to get comfortable on camera, things like giving you tips on makeup and what to wear, just how to be presentable on camera as well. So this month-long training is going to be presented live, as I said, in a group setting. I'm going to show you all the steps it takes to create great video, and your fellow students are going to provide support and feedback along the way. The webinars will be held each Thursday, starting this Thursday, October 29th, for 4 weeks. There'll be a combination of instructional time and live interactive question and answer with me. We're wrapping into this a community, an online community to help really support your success. So I've created a private Facebook group where we'll be sharing everyone's videos. It'll be a place to ask questions and post challenges and triumphs and just basically get feedback on how you're doing and encouragement to keep you moving forward. A nice little accountability piece. And then, I know that creating video can be confusing and intimidating, and even the best laid plans and the best courses, you're still going to have questions. So I'm including a 30-minute one-on-one phone conversation with me to answer any questions that arise and to discuss your video strategy. I don't want to leave anybody hanging. I want to be sure that you're really getting the most out of it and that you don't get left behind. That's not the intention of this at all. So the 4 weekly hour-long interactive webinars, there will be video production assignments in between, and you'll get access to a private Facebook group and a 30-minute coaching call. So by the time our month is over, I guarantee that you will be more confident on and behind the camera, and you're going to have a couple of new videos to prove it. And all of this comes with a 30-day no questions asked money back guarantee. So if for some reason you are not satisfied with the results from this course, I will refund every single penny. But I know and I trust that if you are willing to make a commitment to incorporating video into your marketing mix, that you're going to succeed. This group is awesome. We've got a bunch of great people already signed up. I really hope you'll consider it. All of this you get for the low price of $497. And for any of you today who sign up after this webinar, I have a very special bonus. The first 3 that sign up, I am offering an additional 30-minute private coaching call with me. So I really hope you consider this. This is an opportunity for you to get on board with video and to really professionalize your marketing strategies in a way that nothing else can do it. And I just think it's going to be tons of fun. You're not going to be on your own at all. You're going to have my support, obviously, during the live webinars. I'll be popping in and out every day on the Facebook group, so I'll be able to provide information there. And then you'll have access to me with your private coaching call. So all of that is just a marvelous opportunity for you to move forward and to really jump on the video bandwagon if you haven't done it already. And then for those of you that have been doing some video, this will give you an opportunity to polish things up, really professionalize what you're doing, and get out there in a much bigger way. So I hope that I provided some really good value to you today. I hope that you've learned some new ways to use your smartphone or tablet. I hope you found some new tools that you might not have considered before. And I hope that you'll consider joining our group training here. I think we're going to have a blast, and there's a seat waiting just for you if you'd like to take it. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to be here today and for just considering all the new options there are for video. I really hope that you take it to heart and you soar with this, that you start growing your business and really getting out there in a big way like you hadn't done before, and that you do it fearlessly. I wish you well, and I thank you for being here today. And oh, I didn't actually read out the URL, did I? Boy, oh boy. My sales coach would really hang me on this one. Please be sure to register at mindfulmediaservices.com/you-shoot. That's mindfulmediaservices.com/you-shoot. So if you have any questions, why, please let me know. You guys have my email address. if you need to contact me or find out more information on my website about other services that I provide, please go to mindfulmediaservices.com. My number is 775-338-5485. So thank you all and have a great day. It was wonderful meeting you today, and I look forward to hopefully working with you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.